That's a little scary.
We don't know what that force is. You fooled us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deisi Del Toro with No Filter Show once again. This time, I'm actually super excited because not only have I met this guy in very mysterious places now, I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I want to introduce you to Keith Kong. For the first time, I have a cool name that I can say. Usually I mess up everybody's name, that's why I say that. But I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from to start.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. My name's Keith Kong, and I'm a mentalist, sort of like a mind reader, originally from the Bronx, New York.
The Bronx, New York. Okay, we're going to start off from the very beginning. Like, let's pretend I know nothing about you, which I know very little, so it's kind of true. It's like 1% that I know about you. So let's start with your childhood. You said you're from New York, so you were born and raised in New York?
Yeah, so I was born in the Bronx, and I lived there until I was about 10. That's when we moved to Florida, Orlando, and have lived there pretty much ever since. And it was because it was my mom, for the most part, raising my brother and I, and she wanted us to basically just have a better environment. In Florida, we could come outside, we could play more. It wasn't like the concrete jungle that New York is.
You just called it a concrete jungle, really?
Yeah, that's
Listen, I've been to New York. What part did you grow up in, you said?
The Bronx.
The Bronx.
Yeah,
okay, so
I love the Bronx, but it's the part that every time I go to New
J-Lo
York...
grew up there.
That's true, too. I think Cardi B as well?
Maybe Cardi B?
Maybe?
No, I don't know enough about Cardi B except the stripping. But no, I'm kidding. And the music, of course. But New York. Okay, so I just interviewed somebody else that was from New York, and they played in the streets, like you said, full of concrete and everything. I find that to be difficult. But you grew up with your mom and dad in New York?
Well, my dad wasn't really around too much. He's still around to an extent. Like, I wish him Happy Father's Day, things like that, you know. But it was pretty much, for the most part, my mom raising the two of us. And she wanted us to be able to go out and play sports and things like that. And so we did. We moved to Florida. I played baseball until high school. And actually, I remember making the conscious decision, like, I'm going to stop playing baseball because the chances of me going pro are slim, but the chances of me doing this for myself and making it into a business, I had more control over that.
And when he says this, he's talking about mentalist, correct?
Yes.
Which in Mexican terms, you know, because I'm Mexican, I would say you are a mind power or a magician. In Mexico, they would probably categorize you as a magician. Because things that people don't understand, they typically say it's magic.
Yeah, so in Spanish, it's mentalista. So there is the word for it, but yeah, I remember I went to India and I did a show there, and they were calling me Jadugar, which means sorcerer or magician and that sort of thing.
So I'm not too wrong on what I thought.
No.
Because typically in most cultures, and I'm only speaking for the cultures I know, people think of these things as outside the norm. So automatically they want to categorize it either on like the witchcraft side, which is like bad, or they'll go into the magic side, which is meant to be good, but it depends on what it is, right?
Yeah, so for me, the difference between a magician and a mentalist is when you go and see a magic show, you know that these are magic tricks. In theater, it's called willing suspension of disbelief. Like, I know these are tricks, I'm going to push that to the side and just enjoy it for the night. Whereas with mentalism, you're not really sure, like, what's real, what's fake. For example, I have a background in psychology and criminal profiling. I have degrees in those.
Ah.
So, and I started with magic when I was 11. So this kind of puts it all together.
Okay, let's go back because you skipped right through too many years. I like to get to the bottom of
Okay,
you
yeah.
before we get
It's like a therapy
I
session.
know, right? It really is, but a fun one, okay? Because I'm not gonna make you burn anything, or will I? No, I'm kidding. Okay, on the childhood side, what's your nationality?
So I am a mutt. I'm a
Okay.
completely mixed. I'm Guyanese, Chinese, Black, Portuguese, Scottish. I think most people see the Guyanese because both of my parents were born in Guyana, and so yeah.
Guyanese.
Mhm.
Like I don't see it because I don't know any other people from Guyanese that are
So
Guyanese.
yeah,
Where is it
it's
in the
in
map?
South America. It's next to
Okay.
Brazil, but it's like the only English-speaking country there, which is why I unfortunately mentioned before we started this. I'm learning Spanish right now. I don't already speak it, but that's the reason. So it's South America. It's English-speaking, and my mom was a first-generation American. She moved over to America when I think she was about 14.
14 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. And she obviously met your father, fell in love, all these other different things in New York, made you and your brother, you said?
Yes.
And then from there moved to Florida.
Mhm.
Now we're in Florida. This is where I live, so I know where Florida is. In Florida, you play different sports, but when did the passion of your dream, I want to say, because I always ask the question, what was your dream as a child? And you already mentioned that you started following it right away, which was baseball, correct?
Baseball, yeah.
And then you realized, no, I'd rather do mentalist. But when did this transition happen? Like what?
So I started baseball pretty much after we moved to Florida. I was about 10. And then when I was 11, it was actually on my 11th birthday that I started performing magic. And the decision to like stop baseball didn't come till years later. I still love it. It's just fun to play, but I knew I had more control over this, and pretty much from my 11th birthday onward, baseball was never the career path for me. It was just a fun type of thing.
Uh-huh.
But this is something I wanted to do. And so I just like dove in head first, studying people,
Who head
psychology,
first? Get it?
sociology.
I'm like head first. Well, that makes sense. When you say head first, I know you mean you immersed yourself into
Yes.
this whole thing. But who did you start analyzing first? Your mom, your dad, your siblings, yourself? Like, where did the pointing start? What happened?
Well, it's interesting because before I started magic and mentalism and that sort of thing, I was interested in psychology already. Like I wanted to be a hostage negotiator.
Um, sorry, sorry. Can you grab me a tissue, please? Yeah. Okay. That's interruption behind the scenes, but we have to get it done. Okay. So you wanted to do at that point, you wanted to go ahead and study mentalism.
Well, yeah, I wanted to study mentalism, but at the time I didn't know what that word was. I was like you. I was like, all right, it's either black magic or magic, right? It's
Okay.
sorcery or being a magician.
Thank you. And when this happens to you, that you make this decision and you go full board into it, was your mom supportive?
Yeah, I think so. She got me my first magic kit to get me started. And so
I noticed that you pulled one of my books over here. Was that you?
I did, yes.
Okay.
You noticed that.
Why would you pull
Good
my?
observation.
I know. I was
Did you
like,
see which book it was?
yes, of course. I was like, why would you pull my psychology
I
book?
found it on the shelf over there. Yeah, it's just a psychology book. This isn't a plug or anything. It's not my book. My book's
Oh no, that's my
it's
book.
not out yet, but yeah, it's called How Psychology Works. I thought it was interesting. In fact, we'll set it right here just for now. Do you want to try something?
No,
with
no.
a little bit of
Yeah, we'll go into this portion in a minute.
Okay.
I want to get a little bit deeper into this because, I like this show to teach something or make people get out of their norm. In Mexico, I'll tell you a little bit of that. In Mexico, it is taught to be a negative thing to study psychology, um, because they think that you're crazy and something's wrong with you. It's like a negative aspect of
Yeah.
psychology, correct?
Mhm.
For you, at 11 years old, you decided to start doing magic at your birthday party and then, or study further into mentalism. And then you start studying deeper into psychology, and you say your mom's the first one that gave you a book.
She gave me a magic kit.
A magic kit.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's when I started with the magic. But then I kind of geared it towards psychology, the psychology of people. And now I'm almost like a psychological strategist. Like I give tips and advice on how to use practical psychology to basically have the upper hand in everyday life.
I don't use psychology. I use sexuality for that.
Oh, okay.
My upper
There's
hand is in the
psychology
lower
behind that
hand.
as well.
Of course there is.
But to speak to what you said about
Go ahead.
it kind of being frowned upon in Mexico, I think that's horrible because it's so normal here. Like if you were to fall and break your arm and you went to the emergency room, we wouldn't think anything of it. That's completely normal. But if someone's having like a mental breakdown or something like that, or even just any kind of mental illness, it's so taboo for them to go to seek help for that. Like sometimes people make it, oh, you're going to see the quack or you're crazy or that kind of thing. And it's such a negative stigma and it shouldn't be. I honestly think the more you know about people, the less you need to know about anything else. So,
And see, me, it was the opposite. I thought something must be wrong with me because over there is like so understood that everybody, looks negative upon that. And I thought, man, I must be crazy because I'm very interested on why I do what I do, how I do.
yeah, I've
So
always been
then
that way.
I sat there and I studied and I studied and I was gonna do a psychology major, and then I realized that like to earn money doing that, kind of like how you had the thought that if how am I gonna make money, and then I thought, how am I gonna sit there and like try to help somebody else when half the time I just want to punch somebody when they're saying something dumb, right?
So I think I know what you mean. So therapy.
No,
You've
do you?
been a therapist, right? I kind
Yeah,
of
I
feel
couldn't be a therapist.
similarly,
No.
not to that extreme, but I also knew I didn't necessarily want to be a mental health counselor or therapist. And you're right. A lot of the jobs in that field require a master's degree or further, things like that. And so for me, I knew it was more of a personal interest.
Okay.
And then again,
And you turned it
originally-
into fun.
yeah, I think it should be fun. I think we have a hard time processing dry information. So it's not that like it's all show business, right? Like if you're an entertainer, I think there should be an entertaining aspect to everything that you do.
But what you do is extremely interesting. I mean, to people who don't know, I've actually
Thanks.
seen you do some of these different things. I saw you at a magic game.
Yes.
And you did some things in
The
front of
Orlando
my
Magic,
children.
yeah.
That's Orlando Magic. That's right. Oh, yeah, they're gonna be like, "What magic is that?" Yeah, Orlando Magic. Basketball, people, basketball. And you did some things with my own children, and my kids still remember you because they're
awesome.
like, "What? Why were you bending the spoon?" Are you gonna do something like that today? Or
We'll
you-
do some similar things.
Sim-
Maybe not.
But that's the part I need to ask. How the heck does bending a metal spoon? How does that relate to mentalism?
So that particular thing, I mean, I could give you a big history lesson on it. It started
No,
by
not too long. Not too
yeah,
long.
yeah. I won't bore you, but basically the demonstrated skill in that case would be telekinesis, right? Like the ability to move something with your mind. And so as a mentalist, that's probably one of the most magical things that I'm going to do because I'm not making things float or vanish or anything like that. A lot of it is suggestion, influenced, psychology based. And then also
So are you saying you're bending my energy in my brain so I see the spoon moving?
I'll never tell you
No, you better tell me.
I'll never tell you exactly how any one thing works, right? Because I live in that blurred line section that I mentioned, right? I think that's the difference between a mentalist and a magician. But I'll say it's a combination of all the techniques, and I'm really glad to hear that your kids still have those memories because
They do because
that's the impact.
to a small child, right? I mean, well, they're not all small. I have kids of every age group, but the smaller ones. I have an 11-year-old right now who is starting to explore the world in the sense like you did, just starting to
Nice,
realize
yeah.
like I have a choice on what I want to do, kind of thing. So he's the one that was like, "Mom, you have to teach me how he did that." I'm like, I can't teach you.
If I knew I would, you know.
But no, even if I did, I don't find that interest. Like to be able to bend something or like I can barely keep my mind focused enough in one business one day at a time because I like switch up. My brain switches. Just
Yeah. It's
yours.
Yeah,
How do you, I want to know, like, how do you do it? Do you just wake up every day and you're just like, all right, today I'm going to completely devote myself to this?
that in particular, it's kind of like that. Like my brain wanders all the time too, and so I have to be really intentional to sort of time block things. And every day, I'm like literally handwriting a to-do list, and then also going further and saying like, okay, between 12 p.m. and 12:20 p.m., this is the one thing I'm going to focus on because otherwise you lose focus and everything gets kind of scattered.
Well, I'm the opposite. I have a lot of stuff going on at the same time, and I love that. Like I live well in the chaos.
Yeah.
You seem to live well in the control and organized. But is that part of your studying? Like, is that how you're able to manage your power? Because I call it mental power. When you can focus that much and even look into other people's brain waves, I call it, because I know you've done this and I'm sure you're gonna do it here, where you have actually read a name that I thought about before. And I was like, how the heck did he get in there?
We can try that a little later on if you want.
Yeah, I'm
Would
down.
you like to see some of the? So we'll kind of build up to that. So this is the book about psychology and stuff. So I want to try something with you here with some playing cards.
Okay.
And this is a good analogy because if you think about magic, right? A magician might do a card trick. I'm not gonna like have you choose a card and make it vanish or anything like that. Magicians do sleight of hand. For me, it's more sleight of mind. So I'll show you what that looks like. I want you to see that all the cards are different, and we get a shot of that with the audience as well. Let's do this. I'm gonna just take a quick. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, Daisy, I'm gonna take these cards one at a time. Just make sure that's in frame. Perfect. I'm going to take these one at a time and just get rid of them. Whenever you want, I want you to say stop.
Okay. don't mind. Tell me when. No.
Right now. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Daisy stopped me on the King of Diamonds. Can you see that? Had you gone one further, it would have been the Two of Diamonds. You could have had the King of Spades, King of Clubs, the Eight of Hearts. You could have had any of these, any of the ones that we'd thrown. I don't think that could have been any more fair, right? Now, we were talking about psychology, suggestion. I was actually trying to get you to stop at one particular spot on the King of Diamonds. Thank you very much. No, I'm kidding. You don't believe
that
me.
better no, of course I don't.
Listen, this has been here the entire time, right? We pulled this out earlier. I'm going to raise it up. Look. Open the lid. Open the cover. Hold that up. Don't look yet. Show the camera. What is that? It's one giant playing card. That is the King of Diamonds.
What? Why are you playing with my mind? That is so cool.
Thank you.
And before you guys think he pre-did this, he didn't, because I happened to see the book on the side because these are my personal books. How did you sneak up all behind my desk like that? Like, I feel like you just kind of felt too comfy as my friend. Like you're just.
No,
like,
your producers were great. They were like, "Come on in, make yourself."
I know they are really great. I know they're awesome, but but yeah, I'm like, how did he get back there? Did you leave something else in there for me?
Yeah, but you'll find out later.
It better be a toy. Anyway, now we're gonna move on.
I'm not gonna ask for clarification on what kind of toy you had in mind there.
Since we're going this route, we're gonna go into that route. So recently, I saw you in a special place. I call it a lifestyle place. I was there for a comedy show, and so were you.
Yes.
So we just happened to bump into each other at this location. So just before anybody thinks there's anything negative about his business or mine, we're just curious cats, okay? I want you to talk to me about that because I would have never imagined to see you there. Like,
really?
Did you enjoy it? What were you doing? Like, give me some conversation. Talk to me about this place.
Yeah, so I think we each had a comedian friend that was in the show that night, right?
Was your friend the one that gave me a lap dance? Or which one were you there for?
My friend was Kevin. I don't
Kevin
know.
was your friend?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no.
No, Kevin didn't give you the lap dance.
No.
You seem disappointed.
Well, I didn't know who you were there for. I was there for Ryan.
Ryan, okay.
So Ryan Holmes is a comedian, and
As is Kevin Dean.
there you go. Yeah, and
Yeah. And while we're shouting out these places and people, Secret's Hideaway was the.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't know if we could.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
it-
Secret's Hideaway. Actually, we could put a video in there, a little bit of Secret's Hideaway. It's very interesting place. So it's my second time visiting. First time I visited was because I was intrigued. I went there just for the intrigue of it, right?
Yeah.
I
What
think
happens there?
what happens there. Okay, well, you want me to talk about
Well,
it?
I don't know. Maybe people don't know what you were
Okay,
so intrigued about.
it's a lifestyle club. At this club, you can make a decision to come with a couple, or you can go in as I was, which they call us a unicorn when it's a single female that goes in there, and they like single females there because most everybody else has a couple, and you can exchange your couples. Or you can go with a couple and be the third wheel. Well, it's not really a third wheel; it's more like a extra wheel. Because you don't feel left out. There's nothing left out about it. I didn't join the lifestyle yet. I'm still they call it a peeping tom
Okay.
because I'm still like looking at everything to see. I think you saw me doing that.
Yeah. So
Can you talk a little bit? Yeah.
I'll
Talk a little bit about what you saw me doing.
There's a video. Maybe we
Okay.
maybe we get that posted behind the scenes.
No,
or
I
something.
don't know. Yeah, actually, we could.
But
We could post that video. I have it.
yeah. So like Daisy said, it's basically a lifestyle resort where there's a variety of people that go from those that are peeping toms and just kind of curious to actual swingers or nudists or all types of walks of life come to this resort from all around the world, all around the country. And yeah, it's right here, Kissimmee, Florida. And so,
some people don't swing.
right,
Some
no.
people just enjoy being nude around other people or just enjoy having sex in front of people. And sometimes they're just having sex in the pool and everybody gets to enjoy a few sperms floating around, I think.
You know,
I mean, I didn't get in the pool yet.
from what I've heard, that pool is extremely clean. Like they've got some serious machinery.
But the sperms still have to float to the machine.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
You're getting shy about
That's
it, like
not
you
the,
don't know. I mean, what else
I'm
are they
more on
doing?
the psychology opposed to biology side of this.
Look, I'm gonna clue you in on some logic. If the things get out of a human, they have to float somewhere.
That's just science.
That's just they float.
Can't argue with that.
And then once they get to that special location, which is some kind of filter, because I heard this is what I heard. Okay, I'm not the technical person that went back there to check on this. Secret's Hideaway has invested the most money in making sure that this pool filtering system is the best in the country. And I was like, I can see why.
Yeah.
I mean, like every 5 seconds, somebody's enjoying themselves and coming. We can say coming here because it's
Yeah, they're coming, they're going, they're swimming.
they're going, they're swimming. And okay, would you join this type of environment?
I mean, I've been there, right? We ran into each other there, and
But it was for a comedy night. I'm asking about the lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I'm friends with some of the people that work there and some of the owners there, and I think it's great to have that option. Like you said, a lot of people don't even go for sex; it's just for that child-free environment. But
Because
as
you could
far
sit
as-
at home and watch porn
you could.
on your phone, or you could go there and watch it live. And then if you get bored, you just walk over and you see something different.
Yeah, and I think it was Alfred Kinsey, the Kinsey Institute, like one of the leading experts on human sexuality, who said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was sort of along the lines of, there's nothing weird in sex. The only strange sexual act is one that can't be performed. It's something along those lines. And
I saw a lot of performing
Yeah.
at this location at Secret's Hideaway. And I didn't know how to use a swing, first of all. I think you saw me when I was trying to use the swing.
yeah, what kind of swing was this? Not like
Well-
a playground swing, right? It was-
I thought it was like a playground, so I sat in it and I'm like going back and forth. And the lady's like, no, wait, that's not how you do it. So then she got on
you
it
got a little
the right way.
demonstration. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do it.
yeah. So I don't have a
So
problem.
I learned stuff that I didn't even know. Like, I mean, I've never had to use a swing before because I guess I was pretty good at banging anywhere. But then I discovered that with the swing, it makes all the banging easier.
There you go.
Right?
Learn something new.
I learned something very. And then you gave me a push on the strip pole.
Yeah.
I remember the strip pole. It was very lit up.
There was one of those poles that had the spinner, and I just wanted to give you a little more momentum as you.
It was so helpful of you.
Thanks.
I felt so well prepared for that moment. Excuse me. Oh, I just burped because I'm drinking all this champagne. And I think I got nervous again from being on this pole because after that, I swear to you, for like 30 minutes, I don't remember what happened next. Did I do something bad?
I lost track of you, to be honest.
Oh, so from that, so you just pushed me.
No, I gave you a spin. I don't know if you remember. You kind of wandered over to the spot right next door and did some of that peeping Tom stuff you mentioned, and then at that point,
it was a great experience. This couple was having a threesome with a very black male, and he had a big shalong. And everybody was going at it, and I thought, well, if it's free for me to watch, and I asked first.
It's free. Did you ask if you could watch, or did you ask if there was a cost?
No, I didn't ask for the cost. I said, can I watch? And they were like, yeah, come on. So I go into the room, and I just start watching, and then after a while, I was like, whoa, if I'm not going to join in, I better leave.
I was gone by then. I didn't.
Oh, so you didn't even see this part?
No, I saw you, like, peeping.
Did you see me go towards that way?
I did, and that's around the time I.
Where did so okay?
You're not gonna believe this.
People don't understand this location. Okay.
Yeah.
Go over the location a little bit.
The location, like I said, it's that kind of resort, lifestyle resort, and yeah, it's just think of the most fun resort you've been to, and then imagine there's no kids there, and
no kids.
Pretty much everyone is topless, if not bottomless. That's kind of the gist of it. And so, like, you had asked about like what my thoughts are on it. And
yeah,
stuff,
I want to know.
As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're consenting adults, I don't have an issue with it at all.
What about the whips and chains? You're fine with it?
Yeah, let your freak flag fly if that's what you're into. I mean, it's not personally whips and chains
to you. Like you don't want to whip and chain to yourself,
right? But
if I'm whipped and chained by some people, you'll sit there and watch. Would you watch? No. Is there a charge?
No, like honestly, as long as it's consenting adults and no one's getting hurt outside of the pain that they want.
I don't think anybody was getting hurt.
No.
I mean, from what I witnessed, it's like, okay, it's a normal resort. It's like going to a club. We were in the club section watching comedy. Mm-hmm. From there, we went into different sections of this location, and each location has its own fun. One of them had where people are there's a lot of different beds, and people are having sexual. Yeah, I did the whole tour.
Okay.
And then people were having sex in all these different beds, and everybody's just doing it however they want to, and pretty much everybody's naked. I mean, I saw like 80-year-olds doing it. I didn't even know they could still do it, but they do it. And then I saw a guy being done pegged. What is it called? Pegged by a lady.
I believe that's the term, yeah.
and there was a lot of howling. There was a lot of loud noises. And there were young people, older people, very many mixed sex people. And everybody was to themselves, though. Like, I didn't see an orgy. It was all couples.
Yeah, I mean...
It was different. I was expecting people just, like, diving into each other, and they weren't. Why you?
It's just funny hearing like what your sort of like what people's preconceived notions of.
Well, I was thinking like you're gonna walk in and people are just gonna like hop with like 10 different penises at your face. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Like, it's just like anything.
But it wasn't. It was normal.
Yeah, it's like
you and me right really here, but naked, and then consent. I would ask you, "Is it okay if I touch your penis at this point?" And then you would say, "Yeah, sure."
I feel like I've become.
I'm kidding.
I feel like I've become the spokesperson for Secret. I'm like, yeah, it's a great place. And
it's very nice and very anyways. About Secrets. I know we are going to be doing a couple of things with them because you introduced me to the owners when I was there. I have my own tequila brand, so we're gonna carry tequila there at Secrets. You do or do not do some of your mentalist things in Secrets?
Not at Secrets, no. I just have I'm friends with a lot of people that work there, and then DJs as well that are often there performing, and so
Because I've seen you in the corporate world.
yeah.
Excuse me. And so I don't want this to be turned all into secrets because we already spent plenty of time there. Oh, but before we move on, so on your personal life though, like sexually, do you have a couple? Do you have,
I have a couple.
yeah, or are you
Yeah,
right
Bob,
now?
Susie, come no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's my wife.
Come
Oh,
on in.
sorry, ma'am. No.
No, I'm single right now,
You're
and
single.
yeah,
Okay, so that makes sense. So you're just exploring. But you're so young. How old are you?
I am. How old do you think I am?
26 or 7. Well, I don't read minds.
Close. I'll be 30 in August.
Oh, so I'm very close.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're very young. So you're just exploring, you're enjoying your career. Let's talk about your career now.
Okay.
Because I asked you about your childhood and your dreams and everything else. So now we're going to go back to that, but you've made a lot of those dreams come true. So now I want to talk professional.
Okay.
I think yeah, I know. Let's go back. Let's go. I know we can get hot and bothered a little bit because, like, we talked a lot about banging and all. But now we're gonna go back to your professional life. In your professional life, how old were you when you first got your big break in the industry?
Great question. So I said I started at 11. I was performing for friends and family. When I was 14, I started doing my first shows for audiences of strangers. And so I would go into bars and pubs, places I wasn't even old enough to be in, and then I would perform, and they would escort me in and then escort me back out. And it went really well. Like, people loved it. So I kept doing that. And I was working sort of odd jobs. Like, I was a cashier at a time. I worked as a server in a restaurant, and I was even a teacher for a
A
short
teacher?
time. Yeah, for like this summer government Lexile math program. It was actually really fun. But I remember being in the restaurant and thinking, this is not the worst job, but if I was to just like take the amount of time I spend here and put it into my own business, I bet I could make like a month's salary in one gig. And so I took an entire month off and I tried to really pursue it. And I was able to maintain for the month, and then I did it a second month. And after 3 months, it was like, that's it. This is what I'm doing. And it was that same year, maybe a couple months after that, I got a call or an invitation to audition for the show Penn and Teller Fool Us. And I submitted something to the producers, and they liked it. And they had me out, and we went out and filmed. And I'd say that was probably the tipping point.
And how old were you at this point?
This was just, I think, in 2019, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow. And from there, you did this it's a competition, correct?
Yeah, sort of. It's basically where magicians and mentalists from all around the world go to Las Vegas and perform for Penn and Teller, who are these legends in magic, and try to fool them. And so
And how did
that's
you fare? I know we're going to show some of this
yeah,
on our platform, but I want you to tell me with your own words. How did you fare?
better than expected. It was amazing. I fooled them and was able to bring home the trophy in season 7. So very
Nice.
exciting.
Season 7, you win this. You come back to Florida, correct? So this happened in Las Vegas. You come
Yes,
back
and
to
I couldn't
Florida.
tell anybody, by the way, until it
Wow!
aired.
Oh my
Right.
goodness! So you just kept it in?
Yeah.
Because then the pandemic happened. Did that put the show
Right.
behind?
What's crazy is literally the day that I got back from Las Vegas is when Vegas shut down.
No.
So I was a little worried about that, but luckily the filming had just wrapped. So now it was all in post-production, and it aired, I believe, July 13th of 2020. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, because I know, like, I'm in production also, so I put all of my things behind. It was like a
Yeah.
very difficult time. So for you to have been filming over there, that's why I was like, what year? And
Yeah.
then you could not tell anyone. And then once you
Right.
finally could tell people, how did you make money in as a profession using all of this until after that? Like, what did you do in between?
Yeah, that was kind of the bummer, is because all entertainment sort of shut down. And
All of
so
it.
luckily at that time I could do more of the psychological strategy type stuff. So we were doing things online, coaching people on these different techniques. And also when COVID ended, I'd say, well, I guess it's still around to an extent, but when, things started opening back up here,
Mm-hmm.
business kind of skyrocketed, and I realized people were calling and they weren't just sort of shopping around as much. They were like, no, we want you, we saw you, and we want you to come and do our event. And that was great. And it's just kind of avalanched from there, because you'll do an event for a client and they'll have that feeling that you mentioned your kids have, where their guests just don't forget. And
They don't.
if you're having an event, you want entertainment that's going to be memorable, because regardless, it'll be memorable, right? It's going to be the one thing they talk about, whether it was really good or really bad.
Oh, I've had musicians who can't even disappear fast enough.
Yeah. And so and that's
it's like some people really say they have all these talents, and then they're horrible.
But what's crazy is, like, how much do you think that that's costing the company that hosted the event? Not just in terms of money, but in terms of reputation. So for me, I get to go in, do a good job, and then fortunately I get callbacks. And so every time.
That's right, because I met you through one of my business partners, who was like, "Oh, Deisi, if you ever like do something cool in a movie and you want to have something there, remember that's why he introduced us."
And here we are.
Here we are. So in a way, it kind of works, because now I started doing the no filter, and here you are. But when we do the third movie, we can definitely like write in something cool where you can make some. Maybe we do it
like
at Secrets, and then
right?
Mastermind character goes into like Secrets, and then all these boobies everywhere. Anyway, so that's my own.
Twist.
It takes a very fast touch. You're like, wait, Deisi, are the boobs for you or me? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about who the boobs are for.
Deisi, sleep.
I'm sorry. You run the show. Do you really have that though?
Hypnosis?
Yeah. Do you really know how to do that?
I don't do it on stage like in shows and stuff, but I have
So you do know how to do it?
I've done it at parties.
Somebody
like
did it to me once.
Really?
Yes. In Mexico. And they had me doing all kinds of random stuff. I don't remember anything.
First hypnotist I've ever seen was actually in Mexico.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so you've been to Mexico?
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Many times. Cancun, Cozumel, Costa Maya, Tulum.
All the cool places that I haven't been to.
Much.
I've only been to the other places. Well, no, actually, Guadalajara is amazing. And I go to Mexico pretty often, but I go to the beach in Manzanillo. Most people don't even know where Manzanillo is, but it's so beautiful. It's just, it's kind of like coming to Florida, and then you go to, I think they call it Tortuga Island.
Yeah, I think
it's like by Clearwater, but it's like further down.
Yeah.
And like almost nobody knows, but it's so beautiful. Anyway, that's kind of how Manzanillo is. It's so beautiful in Jalisco, and nobody really knows. But it's there.
I love traveling, by the way. I've been to, I think, 33 countries at this point, and just want to keep growing that list.
So as part of all of the profession that you do now, you travel. Mm-hmm. So if let's say I want to hire you to come to Mexico one day and entertain all these people, you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, right now, the caveat is I only speak English.
Dang it!
Right, but I've performed in about 7 countries now.
But yeah, you would have to speak Spanish.
Yeah, working on it.
You need to, like, hang out with me, man.
Entiendo un poco.
Yeah, I'm going to have to teach you, like, hola, me llamo Keith.
I got all that, luckily. That's,
Is it too basic?
That's basic. I got that.
Okay, so you're going to have to learn the other tricks, like, ¿cuál carta quieres? And then, they do through the cards, and then... Anyway, now I want you to do me another trick, like, another trick. Or can you do a trick like the other guys where they take their shirts off and they start lap dancing? Or
that's Magic Mike. I'm Mentalist Key. That's
I see, Matt. Yeah, you're right. The Magic Mike.
So sometimes people ask about how these mind reading things work, and it all comes down to sort of visual, verbal, and nonverbal cues. So I'll show you what that looks like. I've got this die here. Go ahead and take a look at that. Make sure it's just a regular die.
Yep, it's regular.
It's got all 6 sides and stuff.
I couldn't put it in there, but I tried. So, yeah, it's good.
Okay. I'm going to look away. I'm going to turn my back. I want you to just take it, and you can put your hands behind your back or just as long as I'm not looking, hide it in one of your hands, and then I want you to bring both hands out in front of you. So I'll turn away. Go ahead and do that now. Let me know when it's safe.
Okay.
All right, ready? Okay. I'm going to look back. And so just hold them straight out in front of you.
Oh, straight.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
And it really is in one of your hands, not like you're not sitting on it or something. That's important.
You're a mentalist. Read my mind. Where is it?
Well, so it's up to you which hand you do this with. It could be the one with the die or the one that's empty, but keeping both hands closed, I want you to just turn one of them in the opposite direction. Up to you which one, okay?
Aww.
Oh, that reaction, that's interesting. This is interesting, right? Because most people tend to turn over the hand that has the die in it, but I don't think that's what you did, right? You kind of chose a little differently.
Stop reading my little...
Regretted that.
Stop reading my mind.
I would say that it is in your left hand, this one over here, yes? Perfect, okay. So 50-50, right? We're going to go further.
All right.
Right, so that's visual. I mentioned visual, verbal, and nonverbal cues. That was visual. We're going to go with verbal.
Okay.
Let me just get rid of this.
He's trying to drink all his coffee before he does this. It's coffee. It's not tequila anymore.
Maybe. I'm kidding.
There it goes.
Okay, so I want you to drop that in here. You're going to put your hand on top, give it a good shake. Whenever you're happy, stop and peek at the number. Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and do that.
I still had air in this one.
And then put your hand back on top so that I can't see. So you should just get a number in mind.
Okay.
Okay, you see a number and
Yep.
it's covered?
Yep.
Okay. Will you count out loud, Daisy, from 1 to 6?
Out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And from 6 down to 1?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a little sobriety test there.
I'm not in a police station, am I?
Say 1 again.
1.
Say 2.
2.
I'll be honest, it's a 2, isn't it? Yes, let's see. Yes, it is a 2.
He's not tricking you guys. Look, there it is. 2 right there.
So visual, verbal, and so far, the truth is this has been easy so far. It's just about reading information. With enough practice, anyone can do it. But it's much more difficult when there is no information. So the same thing as before, I want you to go ahead and shake it up, mix it up, stop whenever you want, and you should have a number in mind. Real thorough shake that time.
Yep.
Okay, you have a number and it's covered?
Yep.
Okay. So this time, I won't ask you to say anything out loud. Just in your mind, say the number. Again and again, just in your mind. Just shout it in your mind like 6. 6.
Why are you saying
This is a 6,
it?
yes?
So if I'm
Take a
saying
look,
it,
that's a
why are you
6?
saying it? Of course it is.
Yes, there we
Why
go.
are you saying what I'm doing? I'm like, why didn't you just read my mind? Oh yeah, you did read my mind. So if I'm having sex in my brain, can you do the same moves? I'm just wondering, like,
Wait,
if in my brain I'm having sex and I'm like, can you do the same sounds?
Oh.
Or can you like hop the same way?
If I ever perform at Secrets, we'll work that into the show.
You're gonna have to come up with a new show, and it's the Secrets Hideaway performance. And then I think of all the Kama Sutra moves that you should be doing, and then you should do them. That way we use my brain, but with your body. See, it's a new show.
Definitely new. Definitely original.
It's like, wow, okay, anyway. I don't want to take away from the stuff that you already have prepared. So, let's talk about the spoon one, because I still want to figure out how you're able to bend the spoon. Is it my brain that you're bending, or is it the spoon that you're bending? Is it like my visual reality, or are you really bending the spoon?
Yeah.
And if you are bending the spoon for real, then it makes sense. But if you're bending the mind or the perspective of all 4 of my kids and me, then there's something. What's going on? Tell me.
I guess that would be debatable. It's all energy, frequency, and vibrations. I don't know. Like I said, I can't go into the specifics of that. But
I need to know. I need to get to the bottom of this metaphysical voodoo that you're doing.
But if you want to know what Daisy's talking about, then congmentalist.com, you'll see the video of the spoon bending. And it's just something that I
Yeah,
feel so
if you guys are intrigued at all on what I'm saying, you need to go to one of his shows so you can understand what I'm trying to understand, which obviously you're not going to give me any information further than come watch my show. So everybody has to spend money to.
Actually, I very rarely do public shows. I'm usually doing corporate events and stuff. But I am working on something new. So it's not just a plug, but if you go to that website, congmentalist.com, and join the email list, that'll be the place to get that update. And I can't say anything about it yet. It's
Come
still not solid.
on.
It's still
What
not
about your
solid.
book? You said you're writing
But-
a book. Okay, let's talk about your book.
Okay,
Let's talk about
sure.
Since you don't want to tell me these other things, tell me about the book. Maybe people can read it and learn something.
Yeah, so it's not ready yet either, but I'm working on it. And think of it as a psychological Swiss Army knife. Like, everything that's helped me, I'm putting it all into this book, really. I'm like giving it all away. So it's not even just one topic. There's a whole chapter on memory work. There's an entire chapter on persuasion, the psychology of attraction. I think you'll like that one.
Of course I do.
Yeah, it's salesmanship, the psychology that goes into that. It's something I'm really proud of, and I think it's going to help a lot of people.
If they read it.
Yeah, that's
so
the thing.
I think
And
the
actually,
main thing is to read it.
Yeah, there's a whole section in there on success that's just worth the price of admission on its own, and it talks about something that sounds obvious, but the fact that you can't really do anything if you do nothing. So, yeah, read the book.
Read the book. Are you going to do it in audiobooks, like Audible?
Maybe.
Or-
It depends. I'm still working with the production team on it.
I think it would be really cool. So one of my cousins just did a book and he put it all over the place. But I think once he did the audio, then it was easier.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think most people nowadays, they're traveling and everything, and they can get it into their car and listen to the whole thing. Before we go anywhere, I want to just anything I missed, anything else you want to talk about when it comes to your career. Tell me something really freaking cool that happened to you in Las Vegas. I know everything's supposed to stay in Las Vegas, but everything's supposed to stay in secret Hideaway. When we told almost everything except people's names and addresses and social security numbers, which I think I took one. But anyway, go ahead.
In Las Vegas,
Yeah.
I mean,
when you did, because I'm intrigued. Like, I know people would love to know what it's like to be in such an amazing stage for your profession. I mean, this is what you worked for.
So there's one story that's a little cool about Vegas, and it's still in regards to Fool Us, but it's like years ago I was in high school and Penn and Teller were actually on tour and they came to the Hard Rock in Orlando.
Oh.
And I remember going to see the show. I loved it. And afterwards, one of the reasons that I admire them so much is they'll wait after the show until the last person leaves. Like, they'll say hi to everybody. And it's changed a little since COVID because of their health and things like that. But it was the case at the time. And so I got to go and say hi. And I remember Teller, there's this famous letter amongst the magic community where a magician wrote to Teller when he was younger, and Teller wrote back and gave him some really cool words of encouragement. And now that guy's super successful in the field as well. And so I remember meeting Teller and mentioning that, like, oh, I read the letter, and I don't know why I said this, but it just kind of like came out, and I was like, I'm going to be the next one. Like, I'm going to be the next, that guy, like that. The one to be successful, yeah. Because I looked around, and like there were so many people that wanted to meet them and stuff, and undoubtedly a ton of them are looking to do this as a profession, and not everyone's gonna make it. And I remember being like, I gotta be the one to make it. And so I just said that. It just kind of came out. In fact, I'll get you a picture, because there's a picture from this exact moment. And
so we can put it as part of this. Yeah. That would be cool.
And then fast forward years later, I'm performing on their stage in Las Vegas on the TV show, fooling them. And immediately after, Teller runs backstage and he's like, how did you do it? It was really fooling. And So that was definitely a cool full circle moment.
So for you, okay. So for you, and how many years is the span of between this?
I think about 8.
Like I'm talking
I'd
because of your
say 8 or
discipline,
9.
right? Because from those years in between, that means
Yeah.
your discipline had to meet your goal.
Yeah, and it's still going. Like
You're
there's
still
still a
like
lot that I want to do.
practicing. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. You see that? Because I want people to know that you don't just become successful at something by saying it. There's like a whole lot of preparation, work ethic, discipline. Like you can't just be hopping all the time into Secret's Hideaway and get there.
And
Well, you could,
the
but
other
you'd
thing
have to
is-
be with the right person.
It-
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing is people don't often see like the valleys,
work.
right? They see the peaks usually. So we talk about Fool Us, but what nobody really realizes is that I actually went out for season 6 of the show and got to Las Vegas and filmed and everything, and it went really well, but then it ended up not airing on TV. And so, yeah, like this was gonna be the break, and then it was so devastating, and I had to come up with this plan to basically get back on the stage, fool them, and get it to air. And so that's what I did. But then after that, so it's like Valley, right? Peak. And then after that, I went on America's Got Talent. But no one ever knows because it doesn't air. Like these things happen so commonly. From there, BuzzFeed wanted to do a story on me, and then BuzzFeed went under. So like all of these things.
Well,
that
No
people
Filter's
don't
gonna
know
go
about,
over.
right?
Now yours is probably gonna be
Yeah,
the
and
most
so now-
successful one
now
we
we're
do.
at a peak.
So anyway, you ready to strip now? No, I'm kidding.
Strip your
Yeah,
thoughts
I
away.
know, I'll strip your thoughts. I mean, I'm trying. I mean, it's like the problem is because you're not a criminal defense attorney,
Yeah.
and you're not a stripper. It's hard for me to get you to strip because in your mind you're so powerful that you can probably make me strip before I can make you strip, which is the sad
It's
part
like a
about this
Uno
interview.
reverse.
That's right, because you're like, haha, I got the double reverse, Daisy. Now what? And I'm like, no, not my boobies. No, I'm kidding. I can't show them on YouTube, but I don't show them.
Patreon.
I don't show them anyway. Patreon. What is that? What is Patreon?
It's like a behind the scenes content
Oh,
membership type thing.
I don't know anything about it. I don't even have OnlyFans. So I
You
don't
say
know.
you do or
I
don't?
don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Misheard that.
I'm not. Even though I love my body, I'm not ready to share it with whoever pays $1. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I'd rather pay them $1. Or actually, I get a bunch of free stuff anyway online. I don't even have to pay for it. Thank you guys for everybody who sends me the deep pics. Oh my God! Remember that night with the comedy that we were watching?
Yes.
That's what I thought was amazing because that girl was like what 55, the comedian.
I don't know.
You don't remember? And
I-
she was like, "Oh, I'm getting deep pics left, right, and center." And I'm thinking to myself, like, really?
Is
That
a
means I
thing?
still
Is
got
that
hope. Like, I still got probably 15 more years of getting
is
them.
that like a wanted commodity now? I thought you know that was
I think once you become single, because like I was single for like 6 months, I think, and during that 6 months, I was craving a little something.
a little
I don't know
pick.
why. I don't know why, but
a little pick me up.
during those 6 months, I enjoyed those pics. Now that I got back, well, kind of got back with my ex, I don't enjoy them as much because I'm constantly like making sure he's not like coming around the corner.
Oh, so they're not even his.
Of course they're not his, but we do like them. So if you ever end up getting a girlfriend or 2 boyfriends and a girlfriend and 3 or whatever you decide to do,
all of that.
you know, get them to send it to you. I think you'll enjoy
Get
it.
them to send it to me.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Girls
a fan.
don't send you their
oh,
stuff?
Oh wait, are we talking about? I thought we were specifically
No,
talking
no, I'm
about.
switching it up so that we
Okay.
end on a good note. Like, you
Good
don't
note.
like those?
Oh
You don't-
yeah, I mean, like if a girl sends me something, then,
You'll look at
I
it.
mean,
You'll.
I'm not.
Girls?
I'm not like.
We're gonna leave
Oh.
his social media on this platform. You are welcome to send him whatever the heck you got going on. See, now maybe you'll get some.
Thanks for that. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous now.
What if they're really sexy? Then you won't be nervous. You'll be happy. And on social media, the cool thing is you can follow them back. That's what I
This
discovered.
sounds like strategy, like you've... sounds like you're speaking from experience there.
Remember
cool
the
thing
peeping
on social
Tom?
media,
Remember
yeah.
the peeping Tom? It's a peeping Daisy. I follow them back and then I watch what they're doing. And if it's interesting enough, maybe I'll follow them more. But if not, I won't. I block them.
Okay.
I'm just giving you an idea. You're young.
You
You don't
should
know.
write
Because I'm already
booklet
40.
on your
Like,
strategy on this.
who's going to read it?
Your audience, I mean.
Guys, this is how you get deep pics.
Yeah. Deep pics by Daisy.
No, it's not going to work. Anyway, what's your book going to be called? Do you have that? Do you have
I
the
don't
title?
have a title yet, bouncing some ideas around. The way I've just been describing it is like a psychological Swiss Army knife because it's just got a tool for everything to give you the upper hand. Yeah.
Just so people know, especially the Mexicans that follow me, Swiss Army knife is actually a very sharp knifey that
It's like
cuts
a multi-tool.
Thank you. It
Yeah.
cuts through all kinds of stuff like deer, pork, pigs. I just had wild pigs last week in Mexico. They're really good. But we could have used a
Interesting.
Swiss knife then, but instead we were like chopping it with a rock. No, I'm
I
kidding
don't
you.
think about deer with it. I don't know. I think of like it's a quick if you need a little pocket knife or something.
You wouldn't cut the skin off a deer with it?
It wouldn't be my go-to.
Well, you said it's for everything.
It's for
I'm trying to use it for like useful things like
specifics.
like
Okay.
Mexican hunting game. I don't know. But if you want to hunt everything else, I mean, it won't work with hunting women down.
Not unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy or something.
Oh, yeah. I miss those guys.
I don't.
Not in that way.
Do you,
I said I missed it. Like, I didn't think of them.
Oh, okay.
Not I missed them as in, please come back to life and murder us. No, thank you. They can stay dead. Oh, anyway, go ahead.
So mentalism. Yeah.
Go back to mentalism.
Well, actually, do we have time? How much time do we have?
We
Do
have
you
like
wanna-
3 more minutes.
3 more minutes. Okay, so let's
Okay.
try
Okay.
something then. Instead of someone like that, Tom or Bundy, you know, I want you to think of someone else. So you should get a name in mind, someone that you know that I couldn't possibly know.
Oh,
right?
of course I'm going to think of something because you're not Mexican, right? Or you don't know anything about Mexico much?
Not much, but don't give me any
Well, I was going to give you a
hints or
Mexican
something.
one so you
No,
can be
just
confused.
Think of
Oh.
this in your mind. So
Oh, wait, it has to be a murderer?
no, not a murderer. Just this is like you're thinking of a name of someone you know.
Oh,
Okay.
I was trying to come up with a Mexican murderer. I'm like, man, I don't remember them anymore.
No. So,
Anyway.
so you should have a name in mind, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I want you to just think about the various characteristics of this person. So think like male, female, hair color, that sort of thing. Look at me. That's a male, yeah? Is that dark hair?
Mm-hmm.
And dark eyes as well. Do this just in your mind, nothing out
Just
loud.
in my mind.
Just in your mind, I want you to spell the name. Only in your mind, starting now. Just finished there, yeah? Concentrate on a letter towards the center of the name for me. Did you just jump?
Yeah,
to
I
a
jumped.
T, yeah?
Stop!
This is just in your mind, right? And it's important that everyone knows this isn't written down anywhere. This just exists in your mind. Say the name in your mind again and again and again. Imagine this person was going to walk over and you were going to introduce us. You'd say, Keith, I'd like you to meet. Hector?
Yes!
Hector, yes.
How did you know oh, I can't slap people on this? Oh,
How much time do we have?
I feel intruded into my brain. Why are you in there?
We have like a minute or so.
Yeah.
I want to try something. Is it cool if I try something with the producers
Yeah,
here? So
yeah.
I'm gonna. Maybe you won't be able to see them at home, but you can hear. So let's see. I want you to think of a place. You're thinking of a person for me, okay? Each of you think of these things.
Place and person. He's like,
Okay. Came prepared.
Look at this.
Oh, but speaking of preparation, nothing's been prearranged. Like I didn't say play
Nothing.
along.
I
Yeah,
promise,
just shut
guys.
up.
You know I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, none of this
No.
is set up or anything like that. Before today, you didn't know that this was going to happen. So, you're thinking of a place, right? I want you to answer only in your mind, nothing out loud, and you might have to just shout so the mics pick it up, but is this place inside or outside of the country? Just in your mind. That is outside of the country. Ooh, I think I've got the country. Here, I don't want you to see this yet, Daisy.
Oh, not even me?
You're gonna
Oh, because I'm
take
trying to cheat.
a little peek. Right?
Oh, nice.
Just the country that you're thinking of. Shout it out. What is it? Shout it out. Out loud. Yeah. Out. Spain.
Boom!
But wait, you're thinking of a specific city or something, right? Yeah. Concentrate on that just in your mind. Imagine a globe spinning and you're going to put your finger down on that. Okay.
I like to cheat, okay.
Something like, yes.
Ah, okay.
What is it? Marie.
Madrid.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, there we go.
Wow, look at that.
Thank you. Okay, and I want you to think of a name. You're thinking of a person. Spell it in your mind, just in your mind. Okay. Shorter name there. Is this like a nickname or something like that? Yeah. Just say it in your mind again and again and again. This is a unique name. Do you know? You don't know anything about this. Here we go.
I barely know who they are. No, I'm kidding. I know them, but I don't know that.
I don't know if this is like a common name or a nickname. Nice and loud. Shout it out. What is it? Lolly? Like
what?
this? The nickname of your mother, and I couldn't have known that.
See, how would I know? I didn't even know you have a mother. I'm kidding. It was no, like I do know they have mothers.
You thought he was hatched or something?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm like, wow, you're so great. Work with me, but what do I know about?
Thanks. So,
I don't ask him who hatched you. I mean, I guess I could next time I could interview him, and then I'll know.
Yeah, you should do it like an internal pod.
An internal pod, yeah. Who are these people that work here with me?
Well, now we know a little bit more about them, and so that's what it looks like.
I love it. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did this with me because last time I saw you, we were like running all over Desertland, and the next time I see you, you're like doing the performance at the Orlando Magic. Then I see you again. Now you're at Secrets, and we're looking at too many boobies.
On Halloween,
we saw you
running into Daisy.
I saw you for Halloween,
yeah.
And then you were like, "You know who I am?" I'm like, "You're wearing a mask."
My costume was pretty solid.
How would I ever guess it's you? You're inside a mask, man. Anyway. Good to see you.
The rumor is you don't remember much from that night anyway.
I do remember. I was dancing with Randy Jones. Remember he started singing?
I do remember. YMCA.
Yeah. I remember everything. That night was not a blur. The night that was a blur was the one with Secret Hideaway, the last 35 minutes. But anyway, as long as there's no videos, everything is fine.
We'll post that one video.
Just one video, but that was comedy. It's okay. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love the fact that I get to bring different people who have made their lives successful, and you're too young, so you're still gonna go like way above this success. You're in the beginning stages.
Assuming parts of this don't get out.
Well, when it gets out, then people will be like, "Oh my God, keep going, come to my whatever." Oh wait, that was the wrong comment. Because we don't want them to bring you to whatever. We want them to bring you to a movie or a different contest, right?
Yeah, we want basically corporate events is the main.
Really, that's your main thing?
Yeah, after dinner entertainment, award shows.
Why you gotta be so sweet, man? I feel like you need to do a movie about like how freaky you are inside, and mentally you don't want to be because you know what makes the money, but then outside or inside, you're like, I just want to be freaky like these people at this Secrets Hideaway.
I said it was like a therapy session, right? She's like, deep down,
like,
internally.
Deep down inside your psyche, you really want to let loose, man.
It's like
I feel like I should make a movie about following you around, and you're
Mentalize
like,
the mentalist.
yeah, that's right. You're a mentalist, and then you're like going into your. That would be a great movie. You're going into your events, and then you're like doing these proper things, and you're like reading everybody's mind, and then you go home and you got like 20 wives, and they all serve you.
That
and
sounds like a lot of work. 20 wives. I mean,
you're
but-
a mentalist. You can read their minds. That one wants cookies. That one wants money. That one wants whatever.
It's all about balance. Work hard, play hard. That's it.
20 wives is easy, man. When you can read their minds, it's fine. Anyways, no other men can read minds. First one I met. I could have saved all my marriages. Anyways, thank you guys. No Filter Show. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's been a lot of fun.
Keith Kong.
This is an interesting one. It was Keith Kong.
Give it up for Keith Kong!
We don't know what that force is. You fooled us.